The focus today is more on skills, and this is what this training is all about. We are not yet there, but if you visit some countries in the developed world, for example, like in the US, today if you want to apply for a job, the skills you have obtained are more important than the qualification you have at your disposal. On 4th of June 2022, the then President of the US, Donald Trump, signed an executive order mandating federal public institutions to give priority and preference to skills rather than just qualification while recruiting. So if I come with my degree and someone comes with skills and secondary certificate, but he can do better than me practically, then that opportunity will be given to him, not to me. Why? Because certificate is supposed to be a validation of the skills you have obtained. So if I have the certificates, but these certificates fail to validate the skill, then the aim of acquiring them has been defeated. Because that certificate was given to me in order to validate what I have obtained in character and learning. And these skills are part of the learning. So it means the aim has been defeated. If you look at the global tech giants today, if you look at their format in applying for any job opportunity, you cannot see any column of academic qualification like BTech, MSc, PhD. For example, if you look at Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, all of them don't ask you about your certificate. The only column there is to show the skills you have obtained and to give some examples of what you have done with the skills in the previous places where you have worked before, like critical thinking. Critical thinking. This Gmail we are using, Gmail account, it was only a homework that was given to the staff of Microsoft, saying, please, you are given some hours to go and think critically and come up with a network that will serve our purpose, at least within the company. One of their staff came up with Gmail account. It's just a critical thinking, just like a homework. And look at what Gmail is today. So thereafter, your soft skills like critical thinking, just sit down critically and see what are the problems being confronted by Gombe State or by GSU or by the North or by Nigeria or by Africa. If you identify the problem, you think critically on how to come up with an innovative solution that can handle this problem. This is how Uber emerged. It is a global network today. Wherever you are, you just use Uber, call a taxi driver, he will come and pick you up. It's just a critical thinking. The solution is not as difficult as identifying the problem. Because usually, the most difficult thing is to identify the problem, while the implementation of the solution could not be that difficult. Uber is one of them. Amazon is also one of them. Look at Uber today. It is the largest network of commercial vehicles in the world. But what will interest you? Uber as a company doesn't have a single taxi. But they make more profit than any other taxi company. Why? Because they provide the platform for you to interact. And from that, they get their own benefit. Amazon is the largest e-commerce network globally today. Are you following? Yes. But Amazon doesn't have one shop where you can buy anything online or physically. But they make more profit than the owners of all the shops. Why? Because they only provide the platform for the potential customers and the potential sellers to interact. And from that, they make benefit. So today is not about the size of your shop, but rather the innovative solution you come up with that will even support the owners of the shops and many more to interact. And from there, you make more profit than all of them. Critical thinking is a soft skill. Analytical thinking is a soft skill. Collaborative thinking is a soft skill. Creativity is a soft skill. Problem solving is a soft skill. These are some of them that what we are ought to do is to excel in this area. There are so many opportunities today in the world as long as you excel in soft skills. Digital entrepreneurship is all about to promote this idea. And it is not the end of your training, but rather to build your foundation of understanding how important it is, so that if this foundation is established within 2 weeks after the training, you will be able to continue to develop interest and build your career in that regard. A young Nigerian in 2016 developed an app, HubSpot. It was purchased by Apple company at the price of 1 billion USD, not Naira, 1 billion USD. And it is just an application. It is through critical thinking that Mark Zuckerberg established his company, Facebook, that is Meta company. When he came up with the idea through critical thinking, he was a student. It was outside his own studies. He came up with the idea, and he met Steve Jobs at that time, the co-founder of Apple. And he also met Jeffrey Bezos, the founder of Amazon, asking for their advice whether to sell the company at that level when it was a startup, or just to continue with his own idea. When he engaged Jeffrey Bezos, he couldn't advise him specifically, but rather generally, by saying, travel, reflect, and experiment. Travel, reflect, and experiment. While on leave, he left the US for India. He traveled, and he reflected, and he experimented. Within 2 days, he decided not to sell the company at that initial stage. But today, he happens to be among the most richest people globally. So usually when you engage most successful entrepreneurs, they don't usually give you the advice specifically, but they will advise you generally, so that you will be able to critically think and advise yourself. And this is what actually happened. Today the whole world is about skills. According to World Economic Forum, because of COVID-19 pandemic, a minimum of 133 million new jobs have been created within the digital economy sector. 133 million new jobs. And these jobs, you can hardly obtain 1% of them only with certificates, but rather skills. And it is because of this, our major challenge in Nigeria with regards to unemployment or unemployability. Because sometimes it's not the problem of unemployment, it could be unemployability. Unemployment, a situation where you are ready for the job and you have the skills to take up the job, but the opportunity is not there. But unemployability is a situation where there are many opportunities, but our citizens or our graduates do not have the required skills to do the job. Most of our technical staff today, because of lack of skills, if they are employed, they only do theoretical work. But when it comes to practical, you will see people coming from abroad, taking up the opportunities. Most of these road constructions you see in Nigeria, people from the other countries from Asia are the ones coming and taking up. If you challenge our civil engineers, building engineers, less than 5% of them could be able to contribute in that practical work. So the opportunities are there. And if you employ a civil engineer today, instead of doing the work, you will discover that you will only doing the paperwork. Even inspecting the work, if you are not like, you have to engage a consultant and to pay him to come and inspect the job that is being done. So our major challenge there is a huge gap between our academic qualifications and the skills required to do the work to validate the certificate. And it is because of this I want to use the opportunity to commend the Vice Chancellor here. The last time I was here to commission a project, he explained some of the innovative ideas where they had been working with even international donors to build the capacity of students. This is highly commendable, and I encourage the university to continue to do that. We have a challenge of unemployment, but I want to say it, that the major challenge more than unemployment is unemployability. That is the major challenge. Every week in the Federal Executive Council, we sit down, we approve projects. Sometimes when we insist that project must be given to a local company, it will be given. If you are not likely, after 6 months, it is going to be revoked because they cannot proceed, even if you give. You will see one road construction, 150 billion, 50 billion, but the worst part of it, you will see it is a foreign company doing the job. With all the skills we have in the ICT sector, when I became a minister, I discovered that there were some projects in Nigeria for the federal government that Nigerian citizens could not manage the project. The project is for government, but being managed by expatriates working in Nigeria. And when they are on leave, nobody can do any intervention in the project when that is required. And it is the same in water resources. It is the same in rail. Go and see rail construction and the amount being spent. I am among the people insisting that we must prioritize local companies. But sometimes I am disappointed. If it is given, the work cannot be executed. And you are there sitting in the same council that the work will be revoked. So I think as a nation and as citizens, we must be committed to our future. We must acquire the requisite skills in order to take up the challenges and in order to fill up the gaps we have. The opportunities we have in Nigeria today are no more in office with ACs doing theoretical work. But if you have the skills, the opportunities are more than enough. There are many opportunities. Today I had been working day in, day out to ensure that what we have in ICT sector is being done locally. But we are not yet there. However, we are making progress significantly. So this will be extended to other sectors. And I want to urge all of you that this training should be the foundation, not the end of your training. Morocco as a country introduced similar capacity building. They established over 300 capacity building centers. Today, the citizens of Morocco are being engaged in Europe. They are being invited to come to Europe and work. Why? Because of the skills. And nobody will ask them about their paper qualification, saying that I have attended this university, ATBU, I went to Robert Gordon University. Nobody will ask you. What they are after, come and do the work. In your CV, you have indicated that you have this and these skills, so come and do it. And they have confirmed that through their action. And today, the citizens of that country travel to Europe with dignity, while the citizens of other countries from Africa are crossing the Mediterranean Sea with their MSc certificate in their bags, endangering their lives, while the same European countries come to Morocco and interview their citizens, process their visa there and then, and take them with dignity to Europe to go and work. The earlier we think outside the box as a country, the better for all of us. There is no more opportunities that as a 30 years old or 35 or 40, you want to graduate, and after service, you want to become like the registrar of the university, you have your driver and official car. It is impossible. He built his careers for many decades. You cannot graduate and be like the vice chancellor. He built his careers for many years. Look at the opportunities we have as a country. Get ready to take up the challenge. If you do that today, in the next few years, with the help of the Almighty, you will be where you have never anticipated to be. May Allah